Hi, here we have a game played against Austria this morning, and Austria is not Australia as Jim Carrey thinks. Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. So Austria is not in Australia, or not a province or something of Australia. It's a bit bigger than a province anyway. Oh, we won't go on about geography, but here we go. This is a 5-minute game played against an Austrian player, and this is a Scandi. Now, I love Scandis for white, and my friend loves Scandis for black. And so here we go. Let's get into it. Now, this is well known, this part of it, and Queen A5 happens here, and I've already shown this move from Informator, Chess Informator, which I found this move around about 1983 in that Informator, and some chess players back then at the Otago Chess Club had analysed this position quite a bit. So Queen A5 was the move, but now I know that it's between Queen D6 and Queen D8 moves, and even Queen E5 check. Now, if the knight wasn't here, we would be able to play here instead of Queen takes pawn. What? Queen E5 check and Queen takes rook. So, but that's not the case. So black took the pawn, and I played the proverbial rook B1, which is the whole point of this. Gives up a pawn, and for that of development, which I think white gets in this case a lot of development from this variation. Queen D6 and Bishop C4. The thing is after B4 or before B4, the thing is with B4, as soon as you play it, black's not really going to run away from the B pawn being offered up, and so usually in most cases they're going to take it. So C6. So this is the whole thing that's very sad about this whole thing for black, I believe, even though great players play the Scandinavian center counter gambit. I still think that if it's a gambit, then it should be a gambit, but it's not a gambit because they've taken the pawn back straight away, so it's not a gambit. So let's get on with it. So I played Bishop C4, C6. So black has to do things about their queen where it is. I'll just continue developing. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. My rook's on a half open file. My bishop's out, my knight's out, my knight's out. All I have to do is 3 things. Obviously my queen's not got a space at the moment to go to. All I have to do is 3 things and I'm fully developed. So I'm almost developed, but you know it, I don't completely develop. So here we've got just Bishop F4, which is a bit of a pain, I reckon, for black. And so it's just so good. I really like it. And someone will probably one day just say, oh, look, I know how to refute all what you're saying, David. Haha. For telling me on the internet. Bishop E5. A wee bit of an airing, but I quite like this too. Provokes knight E5, which happens. Knight D5. Now, this knight could be a wee bit of a problem. So, I want to not have to worry about knight E3 forking my queen and rook. Or maybe Queen D2 and Bishop B4 might be entertaining for black, but I still don't think it's very good. But anyway, I took the knight on D5 with my other knight. So black's got obviously 2 choices here, really mainly to play here. I might play this as black. And then maybe bishop e6 or bishop g4 or something to that effect. Anyway, c d5, bishop d3. Okay, so it's all quiet on the left side of your board until a5 comes along and go, oh no, white is sort of like having to worry about bishop a6 swapping off this really bad bishop of theirs. So I played bishop b5 check, and here we could experience a sort of a slight draw possibility, because black plays bishop d7 and I just played bishop back to d3. Now what would have happened if my opponent went bishop c8 from Austria? What would have happened if my opponent went bishop c8? So the other thing is I want to show you is here is really, in my opinion, helping black by playing bishop takes d7 and queen to e7 or king d7, and I can win my pawn back. I can go rook b6 or rook f7 check if the king takes the bishop. But I don't want to give up this good bishop for this bad bishop, so I retract. So that's one thing I thought of after when I was processing this, that my opponent might have wanted to just go back to here again and say, I'm going to come out here and watch it. Rook b8. Now back to normality. Knight f4. And I'm just thinking I have to do things quickly here. I've got a nice field of opportunity from Neil Young, that song. I've got a nice field of opportunity here for my pieces are pointing towards the king side, and I've got this pawn here and this pawn here, which are quite locked up to black's white square bishop pawns on d5, e6 and f7. So my area of outlook is here primarily, and other things. I'm obviously missing my dark squared bishop, which has gone in the offing. So here we go. This is the next part of the game. So I'm looking at the king side. So I've just played knight e4, and here comes queen g5. Well, the queen's where's the queen moved? Here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here. So how many queen moves has the queen made? A lot. And meanwhile, black still hasn't castled. So I obviously go for what? The obvious move is queen f3, and I'm looking to not knight e6 because of bishop e6, but I'm looking at knight d5 straight away because it looks quite healthy. Queen takes pawn check and queen takes pawn here, and threatening moves like rook f7 and everything else, and bishop b5, etc. So all that is a little bit gobbledygook, a wee bit. So I'll go knight d5, queen f7, and queen d5. Now, obviously black's not going to be able to castle now. White has moves like this that are quite hairy. White does not have this move because the queen takes queen. And so I don't think this is very good for black. The thing is black probably needs to here, I would think, move their king. I'm going to check what the computer thinks. Oh no, I'm not. Rook f8, and I play bishop b5. And here comes queen g4. Now I can't play this, of course, even though the bishop can't take it. The queen can, so the queen would just take this pawn and I'd be looking really silly. So I play rook f8, bishop f8, and that was check, of course. Now I'm just threatening the basic rook f8 check, and queen d6, and rook check, and rook b8. In most cases that will be the case, or else it's checkmate if the king goes to e7. So here we have bishop, no we don't, we have king c7. This is pretty sad. I could, if I want, just play what? This move here, okay? I could just play this, but I'm not entirely sure it's that great. So I won't go on about it. I went where? Of course I went there. Rook f7. Now, rook d8 is the only move really for black here, other than a spike check to f1. d1, which might be okay. So bishop, queen d1 here might be a move. If queen d1, I would probably play bishop f1. So rook d8 comes. So what's my next move? It cleans up the position quite quickly, which is what you want, because you don't want this going on too much longer. So what did I play next? Here I cleaned my 2100 player up with queen c6 check. Now it's very easy to see, because obviously the bishop can't be taking the queen because of check, and the king can't take the queen, of course. So this leaves black with only one possibility, is king b8, and then we have queen b6 check, and black's looking at this rook on d8, which is sitting there looking loose. So king a8 doesn't look very good for black. So they play king c8. What did I do next? Very easy to see, but still nice to see it, especially the queen c6 move, which is always good to play. Your opponent's always going to be reasonably impressed with you finding that move in a flit. My opponent moved king c8, and now you can all see it as bishop a6 checkmate. That's the end of the session. I hope you've I hope you've enjoyed this session, and I hope it helps your chess, or that you enjoy it at least. Thank you very much for viewing.